All right, everyone, welcome back to H2H. We got season 2, week number 2 here. I am coming off of a nice little, I shouldn't say little Tasos. I crushed last week, a 4-0 sweep. So I am now up 1-0 in our season-long little battle here. And that's just what H2H is. Tasos and myself battle it out each and every week to see who comes out on top. Whoever gets the most units in that week gets a win for that week. But Tasos, how are we feeling after? I know you say it to me all the time, but I pet you like a dog last week. I had my way with you. First time for everything. I get it. I know all the comebacks you're going to say, but you know what? How are we doing after getting spanked?
Well, first of all, congratulations. This is what if you watch back last week's episode, this is what I wanted. This is actually record breaking. I don't know if people know this or not. This is the first time. Now, this is year 2. We've now gone. So how many weeks NFL last year? I'm trying to think. Playoffs plus regular season is what, 20 weeks?
Yeah, like 21-ish.
So let's say 20 in 22 weeks, 22 videos, let's say roughly. This is the first time you've ever had a lead on me in terms of the record. So congratulations. This is the first time I've ever been trailing you ever in this show. So congratulations. Literally a record breaking performance from you last week.
Yeah,
So this is what I asked for. I asked for this. I wanted a little bit of competition and you gave it to me. So I'm happy for you. I'm happy for the people at home. It was our most viewed video from H2H to date. So clearly people were on board with it. So listen, if I have to lose every once in a while so that we get more viewers and people tune in, I'll do that. But I'm still going to win at the end of the day. And that's why I'm not worried about at all. This is still my ring, my crown, my title.
That's true. You're still the reigning champion. Before we do jump into today's show, I wanted to let you guys know that H2H for the entire NFL season is sponsored exclusively by Outlier. If you guys have not tried Outlier yet, make sure to head over there. We have a link in the pinned comment and in the description. You're going to get 7 days free. Best tool on the market for player props, a great tool for spread picks. They even do EV, middling, arbitrage betting, all that stuff. 7 days free in Tasos. We always talk about it. One of the best things about Outlier is the fact that, yes, you get 7 days free, but after that 7-day trial, you don't get hammered with this like couple $100 bill. It's $19.99 per month after that. So for this research tool to be as good as it is, you are pretty much stealing by going over there and signing up for Outlier. I know you use it too. We love them here. So go check out Outlier, guys. That link in the pinned comment and in the description.
Yeah, they're fantastic. Like, if you guys have watched my MLB videos all year long, I know last week across between college and NFL, I really sucked ass last week. So people are probably like, this guy sucks at betting. If you watch my MLB videos, guys, I use Outlier in every single video. We're now 148 wins and 102 losses this year in our prop record. I don't have the unit number on top of my head, but that's the overall record. We've been crushing it all year long, and that's in big part due to the data I get from Outlier. I use it for every video.
100%.
So if you watch those, I mean, it really is. And I'll be honest, like, I bet baseball before I started using Outlier, like before I made videos and stuff. I was always betting baseball. I have never been better at betting player props than since I started using Outlier. Like, I used to just kind of go at it like blindly, and having that data, it makes you a better sports bettor. That's not like just I'm not just saying that to blow smoke up your ass. It's the truth. Outlier does make you a smarter and a better sports bettor. So, like I said, link down below, 7-day free trial. Go ahead and check it out for yourself.
Yeah, you guys will not be disappointed. But what do you say we jump into the wheel? If you guys don't know what the wheel is, we spin a wheel each and every round of the show, so we know what category we're jumping into. But it's also a wheel spin to see who goes first. So Tasos, let's jump into this wheel. I'm excited. The wheel was on my side last week. 100%, which was the sort of the thread that we connected to you last year. Like, you were calling the wheel like it was your day job, and I got every wheel spin yesterday. So does the wheel truly have correlation to who performs in H2H? Kind of like a yes so far, which is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to argue with you on it, but it's the truth. Like, last year I was winning the wheel was like I don't know how to explain it. Like, I just every week got the wheel, and I kept winning. So maybe it's just whoever wins the wheel wins H2H. We'll keep kind of testing that out as the weeks go on.
All right, let's go ahead and spin it. So whoever this lands on first will be going first, and then it's a snake draft. So obviously the next person gets 2 in a row. Tasos, looks like
I got it.
All right, looks like you are going to be starting us off here.
All right.
So we'll jump into our next wheel. It is the bet category wheel. So we have a Thursday night play, a spread pick, a money line, total, player prop. We have 5 categories, each with 2 on there, because if we get one, we remove it, and then the next one stays on there. But again, it's a snake draft, so whoever this lands on is who ends up going first in this category. We switch category each round. All right, Tasos, anything that you're looking for specifically or that you like this week?
I got to be honest. You know how I usually say the world's my oyster?
Yeah.
There is a category that I don't want. I'm not going to share it with you, but you'll tell by there's one of these slices that I really don't want. So we'll hopefully, fingers crossed, we don't get it. But my luck, will probably end up getting it right now. But there's one pie I really don't like.
I actually only have one category that I do like this week, so
Okay.
we'll see how this goes. But let's spin it.
Yeah, I'm nervous. It's the one category where, like, I spent time on, and I genuinely could not figure out what I liked. That's
Is it gonna
not
sit
bad.
there?
That's not bad. That wasn't it.
Okay, money
I'm
line.
cool with that.
All right, you are leading us off here, so you're gonna give us a money line pick, and then I'm coming back. And I only have, I'll tell you right now, this doesn't put pressure on you. It might though. I only have one money line pick, so if you steal mine, I might be scrambling here. So let's see what you got.
So I'm gonna go and rock with this one because it's one of the few that I really like. There's a lot of money lines I like that are just teetering on the line of like being too high of odds. I'm gonna go ahead and take the Rams here, -102 money line. I love that reaction out of you. I'll be honest, when I looked at this, it does scare me, and here's why. It feels like a little bit of a trap. I'm not really sure why they're a 1 point underdog in this game.
Yep.
I'm not really sure why. I mean, I don't know if people were watching the same game last night. The Rams look good. I mean, I know Puka Nakua's out, and that obviously affects this, but they looked really good, even with Puka being out. They took that game to overtime, and honestly, if we're close to winning. So a Matthew Stafford interception at the end of the first half changes that whole game. They scored a touchdown there. Rams had the momentum in the second half. So yeah, I'm not really sure. I like it. Minus almost even odds, almost plus money. -102. I know they're on the road in Arizona, but I like the Rams there. The Rams Matt Stafford looks good. The team looks good. Honestly, my biggest fear at them yesterday was their defense. You know, how are they going to look without Aaron Donald? And the defense looked good against one of the best offenses in the NFL, team that we both agree on we like a lot in the Lions. So you give me -102 on the Rams, I got to take it. And honestly, seeing your reaction just makes me feel all that much better.
That was my one pick, and honestly, I'll help you out here. You can get it for +100 on ESPN right now, so you'll get those odds. The crazy thing is that I think that this is either an overreaction to Puka Nacua being he is listed out right a couple weeks. I think
I think they put him on IR.
So right, yeah. So 4 weeks, yeah.
Yeah.
So he's that's an overreaction to him, and I think it's also an overreaction to what the Cardinals looked like against the Bills. Yes, the Cardinals looked decent for most of that game. It was a close game, but if the Bills started the game like they kind of played the end of the first half and then into the second half, that game would not be as close as it was. So I think the books are kind of overanalyzing here and giving the home team a little bit of credit. On that Puka Nacua note, Cooper Kupp looked like his old self. Like this isn't a bad Rams team, and for near even odds, that was my money line pick too. So you ripped that out for me, and I do have a backup one, but I'm not gonna lie, I do not really like my backup one, but we're still gonna roll with it. So good pick there. I'm big on the Rams right now. And by the way, before we even do it, I know you mentioned like the Rams are +1 or whatever. We have a rule on H2H for anyone watching for the first time that you can't double dip into the same thing. So I like the Rams. Tasos took the money line. I can't go and take them +1 to kind of get the Rams.
It kind of defeats the purpose.
Right. So we gotta use our better judgment there. But my pick here, and I really do not like it, man. I really don't like it. In fact, I'm kind of thinking of scrambling like last minute. This is a tough spot.
I have an idea where you're going with this too. I think maybe I'm wrong. I have an idea where you're going with this.
I don't know. Now I'm so conflicted. You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna fade a team that did not look very good last week here and roll with it. I'm actually gonna look at the this pains me. You ruined this is the one I had. I'm gonna go Pittsburgh Steelers money line. It's awful. I don't like it. I don't want to. I don't want to. For -1. Hold on. For -150 is gross. You're taking a Steelers team that may have even gotten lucky in their first game if they played anyone decent for -150. I don't love it. I was all in on the Rams, and you ripped it out from underneath.
Yeah, but you know what? I thought, to my credit, I did not think you were going to go here. That was my second pick. If I didn't get the Rams, I was going Steelers.
Really? There are some weird money line like odds and stuff like that. That's not the best category this week. It's not great.
It's not. They're either like really high or it's like, do you really want to take that team?
Yep. So
I like
this
the
really
Steelers.
this was like fading Denver in a sense, and I was impressed with the defense. They didn't even have Russ, and like Fields looked decent enough. You know what I mean? Like this is a defensive pick and a fade of the Broncos. So okay, I like that you agree. That makes me feel a little bit better because
Yeah.
I really don't like it, but it was like there's literally the Rams and then a million spots gap before I wanted to take my next pick. So that
I mean,
was
look,
that was
the Steelers last week, and and I'll be honest. If you watched our first H2H video, the week 0 episode where we did our season totals, I obviously was very high on the Steelers. I think I gave the
mhm,
over on their wins in that video. I'm high on the Steelers this year, obviously. I look, they didn't look great. It wasn't a pretty game against Atlanta, but I thought they looked pretty good. The Falcons are not a bad team. I think they definitely have some stuff to figure out. That's a loaded roster, and they without Russell Wilson. I hope Russ is here because this is the ultimate Russ
mhm.
revenge game. Obviously in Denver against Sean Payton, the Broncos. I unfortunately had Seahawks in that Broncos game. Although the Seahawks didn't cover the spread, I was not impressed at all by what I saw with Denver. I think the Broncos looked pitiful for the majority of the game. They were at one point in the fourth quarter. They were like 4 for 17 on third down. That
Yeah.
game was really tough. If you watch that Seahawks Broncos game, you deserve some sort of a trophy or medal. That game was hard to watch for most of it. But yeah, I thought Bo Nix struggled, and that's the Seahawks.
He
The
did.
Steelers defense is top 5 in the NFL. They made Kirk Cousins, who's normally a really good regular season quarterback, look like trash. So I think Bo Nix taking on versus the Steelers, it's a tough matchup. So I like I said, good pick, Ev. I like it. I
All
like it.
right, all right. Still, like I said, it kind of worries me a little bit just because of like the odds and whatnot. Even if the Steelers pull it out, I have minus 150 on my side. But you know what? I'll take it for now. Like I say, there's a gap between my number one pick and that pick. There's an even bigger gap. Down the list. So I'm okay with it too. I'll take okay. But all right, let's jump in here. I'm leading off this round. Now we have one less money line on the board.
Thank God.
I really like player props this week. So I have a bunch of those. I'm not worried if you take one or whatever. So I think that if we go player prop here, I have a couple good ones for decent odds that I'm thinking. So let's see what we got.
Yeah, I'm happy with hopefully no more money lines because oh no.
Okay. All right. I do have something for this one. Thursday night football play. It was the one.
This was the one I don't want. This is the
All
one.
right, that
This is
makes
the
me
one I
feel a
don't
little bit
want.
better then because now I feel like I have one that I really like. I actually bet it last week and it lost. So by my weird brain math, that means that it's going to hit this week and I'm not going to miss out on it. I like James Cook anytime touchdown plus 135 on DK. The biggest issue here is that Josh Allen is going to get his in the red zone and he's going to, lead the team in rush attempts in the red zone and all that. But they give the ball to James Cook plenty. He had a couple where he got it down to the one. He got a few red zone carries last week in kind of a weird game. I like the idea of him being able to run all over Miami. So yeah, James Cook, anytime touchdown for plus 135. Like, I don't know what the odds are going to be by the time the games roll around. Obviously, we record this a few days in advance, but if they're any better than that, then that's even better. But, we'll lock it in right now at plus 135. I think he's going to get plenty of carries. I think it's going to be a game of red zones, like Miami and the Bills being in each other's red zones, like you read about. And the fact that we're going to have James Cook with the ability to kind of tear up that team all day long.
Yeah, I don't. This actually was one of the picks I was looking at. Like I said, this was a game that I just spent a lot of time on. I went through a couple of different angles, trying to figure out what I liked. I don't like this game at all. This game scares the hell out of me. But the James Cook touchdown was one of the few picks that I was kind of high on. My only problem with it, and for plus money, it's good value. The only thing I'm worried about is the recent trend versus Miami. Now, obviously, thanks to using Outlier, I could look it up. I mean, the head-to-head versus Miami, the data is not that good. No touchdowns
Yep.
versus the Dolphins last year. And then overall, James Cook's rushing touchdown numbers just aren't very good because, again, Josh Allen steals a lot of that from him. Now, I do think this Bills team is different from the past, which is what I think an advantage to James Cook. I don't think they obviously don't have the passing weapons anymore. So
Mm-hmm.
this is going to be a way more ground-heavy team. I think they kind of showed that in week 1. They're going to lean into the running game a little bit more. So I don't hate it. I still think it's very risky considering the fact that James Cook, again, just doesn't score a lot of touchdowns. But
Yep.
for plus money in a game where also the weather conditions are supposed to not be that good, it's supposed to be a lot of rain, heavy rain, wind. Those usually call for more running game than there is
Yep.
passing game. So I don't hate the spot, honestly. For plus money, too, pretty good value.
Yeah, and they got run on decently last week too. Miami ETN ends up putting a touchdown in,
And
but
Bigsby had a big game.
Bigsby had like 75 yards, right, or 70, yeah, 73. Now that it's up in front of me, so I like the opportunity. And I know you mentioned like even like I said, Josh Allen takes a lot of these, but this is a team that seems like they're a little bit more sold on the run game. Like I think one of my easiest bets, both running backs in that game, week 1 for Bills and Cardinals. I took both James Conner and James Cook. They're over in carries, and they were nearly hitting it in the first half. You know what I mean? So I do think that they are kind of committed more to the run here. He had 19 attempts. His line was like 12 and a half, 13 and a half. So I don't see that going down whatsoever. The next back, Ray Davis, is that his name? The rookie had 3, and then Johnson, who got hurt, had 2. So it's in a
Yeah.
non-compete backfield either. If they get it on the goal line, he has to worry about the quarterback, but I kind of like that than the idea of a vulture on the running back. But what are you looking at in this game?
Again, I don't like anything in this game, but I'm going to go ahead and just take it because it's the only thing I kind of feel semi comfortable taking. I'm
Okay.
going to go with the under here at 49. These primetime unders, it's a pretty good.
Okay.
I mean, 60% hit rate since 20. I think I forget what year I read, was it 2018? Something along those lines. It's a 60% hit rate on these primetime unders over the last few years. Um, it's again, I just said the weather is going to be a big factor here. I do think that there's going to be a lot more running. I was kind of leaning more Buffalo because I do think if you're limiting the passing game out of it, it does hurt Miami a lot because a lot of where their offense is generated, or the scores I should say are generated, is from obviously those big plays from Tua to Waddle and to Hill. But I mean,
Mhm.
Miami has good running backs too with A Chain and Mostert. So I do think this game will be more on the ground. If the weather is how it's supposed to be, I don't envision a lot of passing. I think it's going to be slower pace. I also think both these teams have similar issues. They both kind of have offensive line issues. And both of their defensive lines are kind of where their strength is. I think both teams are kind of weak in their linebacker room, but both teams are pretty solid up front with their front fours against weaker offensive lines. I just think it's a bad matchup overall. It's going to be a weird matchup. I don't know how much you watched of these two teams in week 1, but I watched a lot of it from both these
Yep.
games. Neither of them really impressed me. Like I know they both won, but Miami struggled the entire game versus Jacksonville, and it almost felt like it was the Jaguars who gave it to them more than the Miami took it. And that kind of feels the same way with the Bills Cardinals. Like Buffalo, the Cardinals were in it all the way to the end, and the Cardinals just couldn't capitalize. So
Right.
wasn't really impressed. I think these are two teams that were kind of sloppy in week 1. A lot of work needs to be done to fix these teams. And so with the weather conditions, everything else, short rest too, I just don't envision these offenses being firing on all cylinders. I think it's going to be kind of a sloppy game, so I like the under here at 49. And the public seems to agree because this line opened at over under 51. It's now quickly dropped to 49, and it's going to continue to drop. So go ahead and take that at 49 while you still can.
Yeah, using Outlier, 75% of the public bets, so the tickets, and that's a huge thing. Both of you and I refer to that a lot because that's a great sort of little sports betting nugget to look at too. 75% of the tickets are on the over, but we love the idea that 71% of the total money is on the under. So those heavy hitters are looking at the under. And
Yep.
I recall briefly last year when these two teams played, it looks like was that in the playoffs? I can't even remember.
No, it
Whenever the
was like
last
the end of the regular season.
end of the
Yeah,
regular, right?
the under hit. It was a low
Yeah,
scoring game.
everyone was talking about how it's going to be high scoring, and both you and I remember. I don't even know if it was one of our picks or something. It must have been. We were both like, we love the contrarian idea that these two teams are not going to put on like a light show. You know what I mean? Because everyone thinks they will. Kind of a similar thing here. Week 2, Thursday night football. We've had good primetime games, and everyone's going to be betting the over. Hence that ticket percentage. But the money, probably the sharp side is the under. So I don't mind that one. The only negative, and I think you kind of even touched on it, but it's the one easy conclusion here, is the idea of there's so much talent on the
Yeah.
field. I know that the Bills don't have the talent per se, but Miami makes up for that in their own, like on their own side. They have more talent on that team than most games have total. So that's the one knock I would say. But overall, I wouldn't look much further than this play either after getting, James Cook touchdown. So not anything that I want to knock, just because I think a lot of people think that these are going to be a, firework type game, and it could be, but just like last year when it was supposed to be, it wasn't. So I don't mind that pick.
Yeah, and I think the reason a lot of people are also high in the over is because there is some recent data that does suggest. I mean, they played twice last year. The first game, Buffalo won 48-20. So I mean, that
Yeah.
game, big fire, and that was coming off of Miami's having their big 73 point,
Right.
against the
Yep.
Broncos, right? And then they played the second time, and I don't even think they hit. I forget what the score was. Was it 21-19? I think it was really low scoring.
21-14.
21-14. Didn't even hit 40 points. So kind of the same thing here, where like the line was set high, and also if you watched over the weekend, a lot of these unders are hitting. I mean, I think listen, I hate the preseason just as much as everyone else does, but I do think the last couple of years you've seen with the way they've done with the preseason, cutting a game short, and also none of the starters playing, it has a negative effect. I mean, you see Belichick is constantly, all the Patriots guys from the past have all come out and said, like, hey, this is bad. Like, you need preseason, and you're seeing it. I mean, I saw a number. I think only 4 quarterbacks had over 200 yards passing in week 1. Like, that's crazy to think about. Like, in the modern NFL, 2 guys I think had 300. I know I want to say Derek Carr was one of them. And I think it wasn't good. I mean, the moral of the story being like there were a lot of bad passing performances. And so that also is what I'm leaning on is like the first couple weeks, I think a lot of these teams not having preseasons, this is kind of their preseason. These first 2-3 games is them trying to figure some stuff out. And on short rest as well for these 2 teams, I just don't see them, like I said, they both look sloppy in week 1. I don't see them in just a couple of days flipping the switch and be like, all right, we solved it now. We figured it out. We're back to Miami scoring 30, 40 points a game, and the same for Buffalo. So I think out of all this, because I think if you want to pick a side in this game, good luck. I don't know what you want to go with, because both these teams, again, just to keep harkening on week 1, I don't really know what you got from that, because Miami didn't look all that good and Buffalo didn't look all that good. So, they looked okay, but both clearly have issues. So, yeah.
Yep, 100%. So that's right there. So now let's see. You're going first in round number 3.
Yes.
We're going to spin the wheel again. Yeah, I'm killing it this year. And it's so weird because if you guys are new, last year Tasos and I were at each other's throats about the picks. This year, like, either it's because, we know each other even better, or I don't know, we're a little more friendly this year. So I don't know if it'll be like that come like October and November.
Give us some time.
We're excited for football.
Once Alti Ev comes back, that's when it's going to start. I'm going to be like, Ev, that's a stupid pick.
Yep. So far, it's like cookie cutter stuff. We're not getting too crazy yet, so that's totally fair. All right, let's spin it.
All right. If it gets Thursday Night Football play again, I honestly am going to have... Oh, no. No. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. That's the one thing that couldn't happen, and it happened. And, of course, I now have to... on the spot, try to figure out what I want here.
That's great. This is amazing for me.
And the worst part is, because of when we're recording this, we're recording it Monday night, there are no props available besides touchdown scores.
There are some passing and receiving for the main guys.
Not a lot.
No, there's not. But if I think that we can, because we are recording this early, just because busy schedule. If you have an idea, you could say like X carries or whatever. You're at mercy of the whatever the line is, though.
All right. God, what do I do here? So many decisions here. I might even just, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna go ahead and take the first half under. Just gonna piggyback off of. I'm gonna go the first half under 23.5, which is actually plus 100 on DraftKings.
Okay.
So plus money play. I genuinely don't know what to do. Like,
that's a man that is stumped. He goes, let me just cut my play in half.
Yeah, I'm gonna go under 23.5. In the first half, I just don't genuinely. I don't want to be bullied into picking a side here, because I don't know. This to me feels like a coin flip. There's no advantage I can say. There's nothing positive I can say on both sides. I was leaning a little bit on Buffalo, but I don't like it. Josh Allen's also hurt. That also doesn't help. He hurt his hand, so like that also doesn't help. So give me the under plus money value for the first half, and just now the pressure's on you. I want to see what you come up with.
I actually have one that I think is a good spot. I mean, it's a good spot until this guy catches one pass and ruins it. But Tyreek Hill under 98.5 receiving yards, strictly based on that line, it's kind of like, all right, like that can't be too bad. Buffalo, decent defense against the pass. I think it was a Dortch on the Cardinals kind of tore him up. But Tyreek Hill, 2 straight games against Buffalo. Both those games that we talked about last year, he had 58 and 82. Now Tyreek Hill has only gotten better and better and better and better. So sure, he can go out there and have 100 yards receiving. But to me, he had 130 in week 1. Like, no kidding. We're talking about a receiver that can do that in his sleep. But for this spot, if the weather, prevails in my case, 100 receiving yards essentially to cash an over, way too high. So I'm fading one of the best receivers in the league. So under 98.5 receiving yards.
I mean, yeah. I mean, again, if you're following just off of what we've been saying for the last 2 picks, or 4 picks, actually, like I said,
Yeah.
there's too many picks in this game. I mean, we both kind of agree this game is probably going to lean under. It's not going to be an offensive firework. And if you think that, betting Tyreek's under is probably the safer bet. I mean,
Yep.
Tua also missed him on a couple times in that week 1 game. So, like, again, not having the preseason, it goes back to that point where it's like they're not on the same, they're not synced
Yep.
yet. And so, I mean, if the weather is as bad as it's going to say, and again, you never know for sure, but although in upstate New York and Buffalo, New York, it's usually
Changes.
worse than what they project. So, I mean, if it's going to be heavy rains and wind, I just don't imagine they're going to. Tyreek Hill's game is all deep ball stuff. Not all deep ball, but, that's where most of his yards come from. So if they're not going to be able to air it out, yeah, it's pretty
Yeah,
safe.
you mentioned something there that has me shaking in my boots a little bit because it was, well, if they're not in sync yet, and it's like the dude had 130 receiving yards last week and they weren't in sync, that's the scary part.
He should have had more, honestly. He missed them on, like, what would have been a touchdown in the first
That's
half.
what I mean. So, if I was doing my videos, I'd sound the psycho alert alarm because I know it's crazy. This is like probably one of the only don't fade that guy in the league type of receivers, but we're pigeonholed into that. We both said how much we don't love that.
I don't have it on mine right now, but you should pull it. I don't know what his numbers are versus the Bills. I feel like Miami usually versus Buffalo struggles. They usually
his two last games, 56 and like 83.
Yeah, so I mean that's not. I mean Buffalo really gives Miami fits. I was really leaning on Buffalo originally before I took 2 under picks, but.
Well, now guess what? There's no more Thursday night football on the board.
Thank God.
It doesn't even matter. Now we're in the fade me round. So we wouldn't have picked it anyway. So there's only 2 Thursday night footballs on the wheel and we end up getting both of them. But all right, it is time for fade me. If you guys don't know what the fade me round is, it's an awesome thing that we do on the show. The wheel is dictating who gets to make a selection off of everything on the board, and the other person has to auto fade it. So essentially, it's our one way of guaranteeing that we don't have a 0-4 versus 0-4 week. One person at least picks up one win. Tasos, if we learned anything in this episode, the wheel says all, and we have to answer to the wheel. So let's see who gets fade me, because neither one of us really like those Thursday. I love the James Cook touchdown. After that, I was like, I don't think so. But thanks to Outlier, I pulled that Tyreek play out of my ass. So let's see if it cashes. But do you want the fade me?
I mean, I do. I think last week, my problem I know I had it last week. I was a little too ambitious with the plus money play.
Mm-hmm.
My head got a little too big coming off a championship season. I was thinking I could hit everything, and I think I got a couple of really good options here for this week. So I would prefer to have it.
Okay. All right. So again,
especially because those Thursday night plays, I did not like either of them. So
yeah, you get the ball back in your court type of thing. I hear you there. I want it to, kind of for the same reason. I feel like I didn't get my best plays out, but it is what it is. But guys, again, whoever this wheel lands on will get to make a selection off of anything on the board, and then the other person has to fade it. So let's go ahead and spin it. This is a big fade me spin here. And I think your boy's gonna take it home. Let's go. All right, that is so big. What a weird week of H2H we have, huh? This is like the messiest sort of stuff that we're going with here.
It doesn't feel good. The vibes are not high right now.
The vibes aren't, but like sometimes this is when like somehow we're both gonna have like a 4-0 and 3-1 week in this one. But I think you're gonna like your pick. At least you'll be optimistic of your pick. Okay, so it's actually gonna be. Oh, man, I didn't think about this after the Tyreek Hill one now, but I'm going Jamar Chase under 73.5 receiving yards. I didn't like what I saw against the Patriots. Now you go up against Kansas City, who also has a good pass rush. They didn't really get to Lamar as much, but that's obviously a way better offensive line too. Even though the Bengals made some upgrades on the offensive line, if the Patriots can make Burrow struggle, and by him having to get the ball out early and whatnot, that doesn't always suit what Chase does well. So I'm hoping Kansas City gets after Burrow, gives him some fits. Last time he played the Chiefs, he had 41 receiving yards. That was last year. So hoping something similar there. But what do you think of that? I'm giving you essentially Jamar Chase over 73.5 receiving yards. It's a 50-50. I didn't go heavy favored or underdog. We're talking normal odds here. So what do you think?
I don't like it. I don't like it. You told me
you don't like having it? Or you don't like having it? Okay, yeah.
No, you told me it's going to be optimistic. I'm not. All I can say is, Cincinnati, please please pay the man before this weekend, because I don't listen. Players deserve what they're owed and whatever, but like
Yep.
the way that Jamar Chase has handled himself, I'm not a fan of. It's like, I would respect him more if he just held out, like how CD Lamb did. If he just refused to, it's
Yep.
like I'm only going to practice once or twice a week, and like the way he's been talking in the media with like, if I play on Sunday, I don't know. I just don't like the attitude on him, like the way that he's been treating it, where it's like, yeah, I'm going to practice so that I'm still there, but I'm not giving it my all. And will I play tomorrow? I don't know. Will I not play? I don't know. Will you pay me? I don't know. It's like, I don't like that, and it showed on the field. He played now. Shout out to my guy Christian Gonzalez, locked him up in week 1, but I didn't like. He looked terrible, and like, shocker, he's not practicing. Like, again, we talk about no preseason. Going back to this point over and over of like, it takes time to be synced up with your receivers. It takes time to get the rhythm and the flow. What doesn't help is when you don't have a preseason, and B, you're not showing up to practice. Like, it's not good. And the
Yep.
Bengals always struggle anyways, as it is. Beginning of the year, it's kind of the trend during Burrow's career. They looked awful versus New England. Awful. That's
Yep.
a Pats team that's missing Barmore, that lost Judon, that like that. Don't get me wrong, they still have good pieces, and I think Mayo coaches the defense well, but like, that's not a good Patriots team, and they couldn't do anything. Now you're going up against a Chiefs defense that's better. Oh, I don't like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, like 62 receiving yards last week, and again, I think that the Chiefs can not cover him more than Gonzalez. I don't want to say that, definitely not,
No.
but they can get home even better, which truly was Gonzalez, for his share of locking him, I forget his route number or whatever, but did really well.
I think Chase had like 3 catches for 14 yards.
Yeah, it was only like
low.
15. It was like 15 routes, 4 targets, whatever it was. Like, it was crazy. But the thing here is that the reason for that wasn't just Gonzalez. It was the fact that Burrow had negative time to throw the ball, and Chase is a dynamic receiver to break his defender down and make him look silly. You can't do that if you have 2 seconds in the pocket. So yeah, Jamar Chase under 73.5. You have his over. I guess I think you're being a little harsh, because you could be like, well, guess what? You're a Jamar Chase fan this week. Like, you have nothing to lose other than another week of H2H. But either way, what a absolutely messy episode here. Like, how confident are you in your 4 picks?
Not great. I mean, honestly, and you know what the worst part was? Like, coming into this, like, and like I said it last week, like, I don't, for H2H, because we do it earlier in the week, I'm usually working all day coming into it. So like, I do my picks while I'm like getting home from work and like getting ready to hop on and setting everything up. I'm literally doing my research. And honestly, some people may think that's not good. It sounds like I'm rushing, but like, that's honestly when my best work comes. I'm not overthinking anything. I see it, I like it, I bet it. And
Also,
that's
shout out Outlier. Outlier makes that.
That's
easy.
when I do my best, honestly. And so, like, that's why I like H2H, because it makes my mind clear. I don't overthink it. I had a lot of picks that I liked. I was so excited. I was like, all right, I had a really bad week 1. So be it. It is what it is. And I was like, all right, I have like 7 plays just on spread picks alone that I liked. I had some money lines. I had a lot of total plays. And I literally said it when the wheel first spun. There's one pie slice I don't like. And not only did we get it 1 time, we got it 2 times back to back. And so, yeah, it not what I would have envisioned for this game. And I spilled a beer on my computer. We had to stop recording. Like, just not looking great. The vibes are not high, but you know what? There were a couple times last year where that happened, where there was like a video where like, oh, nothing's going my way, and then I go 4-0. So you never know. That's the beauty of gambling, I guess. But
True.
yeah, my confidence level is at 50% right now.
What's
weird?
Great. What's weird is that I know this is the kiss of death, because I like my picks, and that's saying something, because you stole my main money line play.
That's the one pick I do really love.
I'm fading like 2 of the top 3 receivers in the entire league. I did get my boy James Cook. I really like that one, but like, I like my plays. When you actually break them down and put them in a vacuum, it's like, why do I like it? Like, that's a bad sign. But nonetheless,
the only play I genuinely don't like is the second under I took. Like,
yeah,
I still don't hate it, but like, again, I had nothing. I just basically threw a shot in the dark there. Where at least, like you said, even Jamar Chase, like, I don't like it, but his line is low because of his performance. 73.5 for a receiver like Jamar Chase.
That dude's in the 90s or high 80s last year. Yeah. And like, one good and bad thing about your 2 unders there for Thursday night is, like, if you get that game script right, you're double dipping. Problem being, if you get it wrong, you could be losing both. You know what I mean? But it's like live by the sword, died by the sword, and you do wear a crown sometimes on this show. So
I will say
I
one
guess it is
last
what it is.
point. One last point. If the Bengals pay Jamar Chase this week, that fade me pick becomes an absolute lock in my favor. And that's when I'm going to get hyped for it. If they reach a deal this week and he gets paid, that will be the lock of the century. I'm saying it right now.
All right. We will see. I've been known to lose a fade me around here or there. You know what I mean? I'm better off letting you make the pick.
Comment down below, pay Jamar. Pay Jamar. Comment down below. Even though he's kind of acting like a little bit of a baby about the whole thing. Pay the man. For my sake.
But all right, guys, I think that's going to wrap it up for week number 2 of H2H. Again, we had a great episode performance last week. So if you made it this far in the video, go ahead and comment and subscribe, like it. I think the show's going places. Tasos and I are both dedicated to it. We have a good time doing it, even when we have some crappy wheel spins. But that's the fun of the show. Like if we were just coming on here giving our best plays every single week, we'd be doing what millions of other people are doing.
We're one of 75,000 shows doing that.
So, you know what? We're spinning that wheel and you could see our reactions. You could see what happens. It's all real time. So it's some fun stuff. So yeah, if you do like it, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Again, big thank you to Outlier and their support in this show. We had a successful season 1 and we said, you know what? Let's partner and make this thing even better. And they jumped on board. So shout out to them. And yeah, that's all I have. Anything to leave the people with, Tasos?
The only thing I'm honestly laughing about in my head is like, I'm just picturing the Bengals GM watching the end of this video and just being like, you know what? He's right. We got to pay Jamar. Like, what are we doing?
Oh my God. That'd be.
And like, I'm the reason Jamar Chase got paid. Just that's the thought that popped into my mind. Just like, imagine they're watching this, like, you know what? He's right. We pay the man. He's going to cash us over.
You get a DM from Jamar being like, thanks, man. Like, you got me paid. And then you become friends with Jamar. You know who'd be jealous of that? Trey.
Yeah. Actually, now that I just thought about this, one more last. I'm actually starting to talk myself into this Jamar pick. I think this is the law of football. This happens a lot where it's like one team had literally the worst week you could possibly imagine. The other team had a really good week. So everyone's coming in this game thinking, obviously the Chiefs just beat the Ravens. They're feeling good. The Bengals had their worst performance ever. Those two things, when they match up, from a betting standpoint, usually the underdog outperforms what you think because everyone's on the Chiefs. No one's going to be on Cincinnati in this game. That could bode well for Jamar Chase. That's all I'm going to say. That I just kind of popped in my head as well.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I don't mind that thought process, but I guess we shall see it. But guys, that is going to wrap it up for, again, season 2, week number 2, season 2, episode number 3, technically, of H2H. We appreciate you guys, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.